How's it going, everybody? I am Donuts. What is this intro? This is, as always, a Black Lives Matter, all the cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. I am here with my fiance, or my kitty.
That's me. Can I get a different donut variant?
No, this is the one you get.
I don't like this one.
The wrestler announcer.
Oh no!
And tonight, we've got Loki, Season 1, Episode 4, the Nexus event.
Oh boy.
So, we're getting into it. What does it mean to be a Nexus event? What do these explosive things actually do?
Yeah.
Like, what does resetting the timeline do? Not what is it doing? How do you bomb the sacred timeline? What does that mean?
What does that mean? And I doubt this is going to be a very direct connection, but the question in the back of my head through all of this is going to be, what does this have to do with Wanda, if anything?
Right, yeah, because I think we brought up last episode.
Yeah.
I feel like we should also do a bit of a re-going over everything that we have already... Oh, I'm getting an Amber Alert! Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Sorry, I hope the Amber Alert wasn't messing with the mic too much. What a world we live in. Anyway, we should re-go over kind of some of the stuff that we have talked about that we have just been wrong about, or that we have just been, like, stupid about.
Please, please, please.
So, first off, in episode 1, there is a variant scroll. So, does that mean that, because we talked about, like, it seems like they only have humans and Loki is the first alien. That could still be true, because they do disintegrate the one dude, so it's not necessarily every variant they bring on, it works for them and everything like that.
Yeah.
And if they're Skrull, they could just make themselves look like a human, because who knows? Why would they do that in this place? I don't know, you know? It's their prerogative. Yeah. But, like, again, we only have humans, Asgardians which look exactly like humans, and a Skrull which can make themselves look exactly like a human.
Very fair points.
So, you know, our point still stands a little bit, but I will acquiesce that we have seen another alien there. I mean, also, like, obviously they're looking over other planets. We see Titan, we see Ego, and stuff like that on their, you know, like, outboarding flights sort of thing. thing. So, yeah, that's the thing, but we wanted to correct that. I guess just also talking about what we consider to be canon or not canon and stuff like that. And we went so long on, like, Agent Carter's canon because of the thing brought up in Endgame, and there's been some other stuff sprinkled throughout as well. But it's like, well, also, you know, that is the same thing as the Phase 4 things, where it's starring 2 major characters from the movies. And, you know, some minor characters as well. So that's definitely, you know, canon in that regard, let alone the, like, oh, well, the movies then had a character who was original from the show appear. Like, yeah, that's a big thing as well. But if the Phase 4 stuff is canon because it is all characters we've seen in the movies in major ways, now having TV shows about them, that counts for Agent Carter as well.
Yeah.
And
just
again,
makes sense.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is such a weird place of, like, I think the best way you have to put it is, like, Season 1, at least, maybe even Season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe happened, but not in the ways that we see happen in the show. Like, one of those situations where it's like, the show is another timeline, but those events, or some of those events, or, like, the character stuff, could have happened, mainly with Season 1, but there's also some stuff in Agent Carter that is, you know, has connections with Season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it's like, you know, kind of, it works in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's very much so, like, I mean, this is a weird thing to bring into this, but it's very much so like the One Piece movies that are written by Oda, where it's like, the events happened, but the Straw Hats weren't there. But that means that the events, of course, could not have happened in the way they happened if the Straw Hats weren't there. And so, like, that's kind of how I feel about the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. Like, a lot of those events still happened, but not with S.H.I.E.L.D. But then what does that mean if it wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D.? How did that stuff happen? But that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The MCU is finally becoming more like the comics, where, some comics have that same energy of like, the past stuff did happen, but not the way you saw it. That is just an interpretation of how it could have happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we are getting into the age of comics of, like, the stuff that's canon is what you consider to be canon. And, like, that's how, there is no, here's what is canon, here's what isn't canon. It's whatever you want to hold as canon, whatever you don't want to hold as canon is not canon. It's just that simple. And so I think that's, why it's interesting for us to have this hard, like, here's what we're going to consider a part of this prime timeline going forward and what we're going to assume is other timeline stuff. But even that's going to be very, very loose with how we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two main things. Was there anything else that we needed to bring up or establish?
I feel like there was something else, but if we don't get it now, we'll get it later.
Yeah. I guess that's it. So let's jump into this episode. If you want to get the full length, check it out on Patreon for $4 a month. If you want to get early access to the whole series ahead and maybe some movies by this point, Black Widow and some other stuff. I'm not sure if we're doing a movie after Black Widow. All I know is Black Widow's next. So
yeah,
definitely Black Widow, maybe some other stuff. I'm not sure what's after that. You'd have to go check for yourself. Let's get into this. One last thing. Sorry.
Oh.
We did forget something.
Oh, yeah?
We had a whole debate about, like, in the very first episode, we had a whole debate about, like, what is a timeline versus a a different universe.
Oh, right.
At the very, very beginning, when we're having the whole Miss Minutes thing going over everything, they do say there was a multiversal war, and the timekeepers took all those timelines and put them into, like, a sacred timeline. So,
yeah,
they do consider timelines and different universes to be one and the same.
Yeah, and that is a very clear, like, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy happened. That was a timeline out there, and then it was, like, folded into the sacred timeline.
Well, no, not necessarily, because it's not all timelines were folded into the sacred timeline.
True.
We just know that they did take a bunch of timelines and form them into the sacred timeline. But that doesn't mean all of them. And again, this is all propaganda, so who knows what's actually real. But even in that thing, I believe, again, I might have to go back and check again after this episode or something, but, like, I believe they didn't say, like, all the timelines. It's just that, like, they took timelines and merged them into a single timeline.
Fair enough.
But either way, so different universes, different timelines, same thing. Okay, so we're here for the discussion. I guess, first off, let's say we were both completely fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, all of last episode did happen.
It's all real.
So Loki why does he not use those powers more often?
Yeah, it was a big push.
Like, well, yeah, what the fuck? That's like, we've never seen it. Like, that's insanely powerful. That's like, why
so
use
weird.
any of your other magic?
Like, even with his knives, like, just push the knife really, really hard.
Yeah, like, why do you even need knives? Why not use their own weapons against them? I feel like, it feels like that can't possibly be true, but we're being told that it was.
Yeah.
Like, why did he struggle against the Hulk? Like, I feel like this, everything we've ever seen him do now, it's like, why not just not lose? But yeah, I don't have much more to say about that other than just, like, that feels crazy that he can do that.
Yeah, it's a real weird thing to toss in there.
Yeah.
Like, especially because this, like, the series hasn't, been crazy about it, but it's been pretty consistent about, like, he has certain abilities and Sylvie has other certain abilities that are, kind of like on the same branch path. Like, if there were D&D characters in the same class, you can spec in this or that. And the big push really feels totally separate from everything else he has spec'd in,
Yeah, it does
like he's
not
the magic
feel
man,
like the same thing. And like also you could use that for so much mischief. But yeah, that's a wild thing to throw out here. I feel like we're more to talk about that maybe at the end of the season if that truly is real, because I still don't believe it. I still don't believe it. You know, he has to be. But like,
he's gotta be.
It just feels like it can't be. But, we gotta accept it. We gotta accept it.
Yeah.
He has.
We can't say that's all canon.
He has psychic abilities.
He's got the big telekinesis.
The big, you know, yeah, like it's just like, god damn it. Okay, aside from that, yeah, everything happened. He did just get drunk. He did just like all the stuff that felt like mind games was not. It was just them being true.
Yeah.
Which again feels so weird.
Yeah, I'm holding out that, like, I think the building is going to be real, but I'm holding out for, like, a bit of recontextualization later of, like, maybe, you know, maybe the getting drunk was a mind game, but, you know, he didn't mean for everything else to happen.
Maybe.
Or something like that.
But, yeah, I feel like we would have got that in this episode if that was the case, but maybe not. Because I thought at the end of the episode he was about to reveal, like, that they were still momentous or something. But but okay, so yeah, also Morbius not dead. Or not Morbius, Mobius.
Mobius.
Oh shit. But yeah, Mobius not dead.
Yeah. Anyone who's been disintegrated, presumably not really dead.
Yeah. Where were they sent though?
Yeah. I wonder if this is some sort of like killing a variant would, like, do bad things to time, so they just have to, like, put them somewhere else.
Maybe. It does look like Stark Tower is in the background of that shot, but the scale seems off, but that does look like Stark Tower.
Yeah. Because, like, wherever this is, it's gotta be a place where you can't, just build yourself a rocket ship and leave. Either because, you just literally can't, or because, like, there's nothing else in the universe, so why bother?
Yeah. But it is Earth, for sure.
It is Earth.
It's definitely Earth, it's around electricity times, at least.
Yeah. Can't pinpoint it, but if that is Stark Tower, then it's probably, modern-ish time, more or less.
Yeah.
MCU time.
It's MCU time. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, where do we even start this subject? So we shouldn't start there. But like,
yeah, well, let's build there.
Yeah. So the thing we've been saying the whole time, the timekeepers aren't real. That's definitely true. When we first saw them, I was like, oh, these are fucking animatronics. And then when we got the CGI, I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe they are like real in a sense that these entities are real, but there's somebody behind them. Like they are just incredibly weak. They're not the ones that did whatever was said to have been done. It's Loki. It's gotta be Loki. That's right. It's gotta be Loki is the one behind this all. Not our Loki or Sylvie, but another Loki.
Going for the big brain. Loki is already the god of time.
Yeah, that's my guess. That's my guess. It has to be.
That would make so much
Loki.
sense.
Because I'm thinking, like, who else are they gonna do? Like, what else is it gonna be? We're gonna get fucking Kang?
We haven't had enough bullshit for it to be Kang. Yeah, because there's nothing else really set up. I was thinking narratively, the thing that would make the most sense is Ravonna. Like, she built the timekeepers and is the person behind the person, but that cannot be the case here.
I think she fully believes in it too.
Yeah, like, the way in which she was talking, either she's an insanely good, actress in universe, or, she truly fundamentally believes. And I feel like, with all the guards and everything there, it feels... it's the best way to prove that your lie, the best way to sell someone on your lie is to show them something that feels incontrovertible. And so just being able to say, like, hey, those are the timekeepers. You can look to them. You can talk to them. But, you can't get too close or anything because, there are super gods. That'd be very offensive. That makes enough sense to me.
At the same time, I feel like she is aware that she is a variant. And that she had a past life. And that's why she has all the trophies and stuff.
Yeah. That would make sense with her whole, like, I am trying to protect you. Like, she meant that, in context as, like, to protect you from Sylvie. But I think that was a genuine, like, I do genuinely like you, Mobius, and I want to protect you from the truth. The truth being, of course, timekeepers are real, but also we're variants.
Yeah, or she knows the timekeepers aren't real, but doesn't care. Like, she might know everything behind all this, but that doesn't mean she is the one behind it all.
Yeah. Because, like, fundamentally, the construct she must believe in is that, this is all necessary. And so part of that is, like, the real timekeeper, whether it is a Loki or someone else, is, like, actually vulnerable. And so the fake timekeeper stuff is all necessary to be a distraction should anyone get this far. Like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Also, if it is a Loki, that's why they're so scared of Loki's getting to the timekeepers. And why they would want them killed in front of them.
Because that's a big one. Like, why do any of this stuff instead of just immediately hitting them with the sticks?
Yeah. It's because Loki needs to see the other Lokis in front of his eyes get disintegrated or brought into this other realm.
Loki needs to make sure that he is, in fact, the correct, like, the superior Loki.
Yeah. That's my big guess.
It's a really good guess. I think I'm on the train.
I can't believe I didn't guess it sooner. It feels so obvious now that I've said it, but also I'm still like, it feels like such a big guess, and if I'm wrong...
Yeah, it's a big one, but also it fits so well into everything. The series is called Loki.
Yeah.
Who better to trick a Loki than a Loki? And it could be the big, like, you thought Sylvie was the best Loki we have seen, but no, we've been seeing a way better Loki this whole time, in a sense.
Oh, yeah. I could see it. Okay, and like, whatever this other realm is, we've got a bunch of our, like, I wonder if we're going to see those other Lokis that we saw in, like, episode 2 as well. The one that was, like, super buff and looked like a Loki abomination or something. And then we had two other ones that I don't remember what they looked like exactly.
Yeah. Because, like, we've definitely been hammering home the concept of, like, is a Loki because Loki loses? Is the purpose of Loki to just be a failure? And this feels like, the ragtag misfit gang of, here's all the, Lokis that anyone would look at and say, like, these people suck.
Yeah.
Like, working together, can they get a victory?
Like, yeah, do you recognize those Lokis from specific comic runs or anything?
The only one is the older one, which looks like there have been a few like older Lokis that look more like his classic costume. Like they're definitely aiming for a like that is a shitty looking version of like the original costume.
Yeah, I mean that looks to me like the closest that anybody has ever looked to how Loki looks in the comics. And I'm not even talking about the costume. I mean like looking like an old man.
Yeah.
Like
because like they're
Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, just that, like, there is a very notable kid Loki that I can think of, but he doesn't look quite like this.
Okay.
And the other two, I do not recognize at all. I mean, on Marvel Unlimited, there has been a, infinite comic called Alligator Loki, which I imagine is this Alligator Loki.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only one here I recognize is the Alligator Loki because of that on Marvel Unlimited, which I was always just like, why are we doing this? What is the point of this? Now I get it was probably because of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fully feel like the Alligator Loki came in this first before it was a comic thing. But yeah, the other ones as well might be original as well. The Kid Loki was one where I looked at it and went like, that looks like it's from a like, we're doing a reboot, but they're kids now.
Yeah, like, there's a big Kid Loki run in which like old man, scary past Loki is also a big deal.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, like I think we're definitely doing those two.
Gotcha. And yeah,
and then
the other one, don't recognize. It looks a little bit like the hammer looks a little bit steampunk, a little bit. But other than that, there's nothing like striking about the design. It's very MCU looking.
It's very reboot. It's very like, here is, a totally different take, because we really, like, it really is such a big spectrum. Like, Sylvie is not that strange as a Loki, like, or as someone who branched off from, who once, in some way could have been Loki.
I knew it was the old man. Like, it's just not very, like, Asgard regalia. Like, from what the MCU has shown it to be.
Yeah. That's a fair point as well.
But, like, he could definitely have been like that was just his outfit on Asgard in another timeline where stuff looked more like it did in the comics.
I would kill for a Spider-Verse-esque let's do this one more time, where we see all of these Lokis and, like, what they were doing prior to TVA coming after them.
Yeah. I mean, that Loki also has, like, the old Loki has, like, a duffel bag. Like, he looks like he just finished robbing a store. The kid looks super edgy. The black guy looks so, like, the warrior Loki. I mean, the fact that he has, assumingly, Thor's hammer.
I didn't even clock that. It's probably, like, steampunk Mjolnir.
Yeah. And, like, it's like, it's like kind of it's so, only the hammer looks like that. Like, I would assume his outfit would look more steampunky if they were going for a steampunk look, which is why I say it's kind of steampunk, but more, I mean, he also just kind of built a hammer out of shit in this realm, just because of,
that's also very possible.
Whatever. But, like, the fact that only he has it, and the fact that he's a very, like, warrior-looking one, makes me feel more like, no, I in this, universe, I won against Thor and took his hammer.
And like, what do they mean? When our variant Loki says, "Am I, dead?" What do they mean by, not yet, but you gotta come with us? Like, is there something here that kills you?
Maybe.
Like, is there a jailer?
I mean, or they could just mean you're not dead yet. Like, everybody's gonna die at some point.
It would be very Loki to make it feel like it's, scary, and then bring it back to the base and go like, yeah, it's fine. We just wanted to bring you back here.
Yeah. I love this group. I cannot wait to see how they're gonna interact. I feel we're gonna get a lot of funny shit with Alligator Loki. Which, like, again, I read a little bit of the Alligator Loki comics, and I don't know why they're doing them at all, because they're so boring. And that I do love the, like, we're just going to do a series that's, like, one of the pets that the Adventure has. We're going to follow that. And usually I love them. Alligator Loki is pointless, so bad. But just from, like, it as a CGI animal in a situation like this is so much more funny than just like, what if Loki was turned into an alligator and we're just going to follow that in a normal timeline sort of thing.
Yeah. Part of it is also definitely the medium. Like, in comics, something like that isn't that weird in any way, really.
Yeah, I guess that's also the thing. It's just, it's so like, okay.
Yeah, like, just by nature of this being live action, there's that added layer of, like, you spent, like, $5 billion on this?
Yeah.
Or alternatively, you got an alligator for this?
It is weird when you put it that way, because, like, in the comics, Loki being an alligator is not as weird as just a shark as a pet. And it really shouldn't. It feels like those two things should be on the opposite ends, but they aren't.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only complaint I have with this episode is that the choreography was really bad. The fight was not good.
Oh, yeah.
I was really struggling to react during that, because it was just like, oof, this does not look good.
Yeah. It was... it was definitely not up to any of the other series in terms of choreography.
Also, I do like the way that the timekeepers were animated and everything like that, and it's just like they would have put way more effort into them if they were real, which is why it was like, are they animatronic when we first saw them? But then the more we were seeing them move around and talk and stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe not. But I do like that they made me second guess myself.
Same. Like, my bar was so much lower than yours in that as soon as I saw them, my immediate thought was, they're statues. Because I'm so used to other series that'll do the, like, this is literally just a statue and no one's going to notice until they walk, like, 5 steps forward.
Oh, I see.
That the moment I saw that they weren't statues, I immediately bought it. Like, okay, I guess they're people. Like, they might not be the timekeepers. They could still be stand-ins or something.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about them being animatronics. It was the immediate, like, no, never mind. They're not actual statues.
I think the number one thing that made me realize that they were, like, that reaffirmed that they were fake, because I went with, like, they're animatronics, to, okay, maybe they're real, then to, like, another definitely fake, but what is actually going on here? But it was, like, when we get the close-ups of each of them and their voice, where it's just like, okay, their voices are too distinct, they look too alien, this is not the MCU. Like, this is not how the MCU does things. They look like real aliens. They sound like real aliens. There's no way this is real. The MCU just does not do that. And I would like to be proven wrong at one point, but that is, like, the bar of, like, if something looks too alien, something's going on here. It can't be actually aliens. The MCU, if the MCU, they're gonna look very humanoid.
Yeah, and part of it was also, like, I was thinking about your talk at the very start of the episode about the fact that there are only, like, humans/human passing people working at the TVA. And it did, like, strike me in the moment of, like, they look so alien, so why would they be so racist? Like, why would they not hire people that look, a little more like them? Like, not exclusively, but, just around. Why would they only be hiring random people who look, exactly like humans, or can look exactly like humans?
Also, why did Loki keep saying 3 lizards? They don't look anything like lizards, none of them.
I guess the, like, things around their necks, like the, like, that looks kind of like a lizard frill.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, but their faces do not look lizardy, and even in the cartoon, when, like, I rewatched it after we realized, like, oh, right, it's they did specifically say multiversal war. Looked over it again, they don't look like lizards.
Not at all. Loki was out of his mind. Maybe they filmed that before they finalized what they were going to look like in any way.
Very, very possible.
Because that just feels so weird in retrospect. That kept being a thing we kept bringing up, and then they didn't look like that at all. But yeah, I mean, what to say? Like, where would the Loki be? Because this room is so tight too, and it's just like, where would it, I don't know what I would do if I was a character in this situation at this time. It's like, in a meta sense, I'd go to Loki being it. But if I was in universe, I don't think I would come up with that theory at all. So, like, I mean, I guess, getting Ravonna and getting the information out of her seems like the best way. But, like, aside from that, that truly does feel like such a helpless situation. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But also, looking up these close-ups again, I will say the clothes they wear also looks like scales, and then they have like little spikes on them as well. I can kind of see what he was talking about a little bit, not really, but
yeah, it's a little lizardy, and he was saying it in, like, the moments.
He said it multiple times, but still. But yeah, okay. So what should we talk about next? We're circling around shit.
I mean, before we stop talking about the timekeepers, I also am questioning the whole, like, you're a child of the timekeepers too. Like, do they just mean, like, Sylvie's a variant by, like, she wouldn't still be around if the timekeepers weren't around?
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
What does this mean?
I'm lost on that one.
Because, like, it's too specific to just be something they throw out in order to, like, mess with her minds.
Yeah. And yeah, seeing her taken in, as a child, when, like, was it just that, like, what was the thing? What was the Nexus event? They don't even remember. It's just, like, so inconsequential.
Yeah. Something I've really appreciated is also, like, some of the other Minutemen back in like the Roxcart place, like, just, casually abusing people as a clear, like, they're all gonna, get reset or whatever, so it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? There's no lasting events from this.
Yeah.
like seeing that extreme disregard and seeing in contrast, like, like little Sylvie seeing essentially a cop beating someone up and then saying to another cop, like, why aren't you doing something to help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the parallels here are very evident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even way back in this, like, first episode with Casey, where they, like, disintegrated his cart, and he was like, hey, you almost hit me! It's so messed up! I'm not gonna forgive you for this!
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's like, the parallels are very, very evident.
Hmm.
But yeah, it also, makes a little bit more sense why, like, if there is a time thing going on and a Loki is around, take that Loki in. If there is a Loki behind all this, I understand that so much more now.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that, like, before it was like, okay, well, they just have bias against Lokis, because, like, well, we've dealt with them before, so if we go to a time period and, like, something's fucked up and there's a Loki there, let's, take them in. But no, this is, like, that is a rule, probably.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, the how arbitrary it is that Sylvie got taken in is also so interesting. Because, like, at what moment did she do anything, / like, was her existence a crime?
Yeah.
Because it's not an immediate thing. And, the moment we see her, she's just playing. So, what could it have been? Because also, like, she spent all this time on the run, running through, apocalypses for a long-ass time. Because also, keep in mind, she is an Asgardian.
Yeah.
They live for, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and, like, thousands of years, and, as they slowly age. And she went from looking like a little kid to looking like an adult.
Yeah.
Like, that is so much time that she has been perceiving, that she has been living through, trying to do the shit.
God damn.
And in all the time, if she has, every night been thinking, what did I do wrong? Like, if there was something, like, if it was I went back in time to get that boat, for instance, I'm sure she would know about it. It would be more of a, like, that didn't deserve all of this. But she genuinely has zero idea what the problem was, besides maybe her existence.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it's like, the boat looks, like it should be from that time.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's, when Odin and all them would have gone in to fight the Battle of the Frost Giants in Norway and everything. Like, that's around that time, roughly.
Yeah. Like, if that was it, it would be like the candy bar, in which we'd be able to look at it and go, obviously, this is wrong.
Yeah. And we don't know if there's anything wrong with it. Like, it gets erased, but, like, so does anything that they've touched since they've been there. Like, since they've been there.
Yeah.
So it's like, we really have no idea what it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mobius quote-unquote dying out of nowhere was, like, such a shock that I didn't even, it was just like, I refused to believe it. I was like, there's no way. It can't be. But now we're going to have a jailbreak with, like, he's been saying, I've been hanging out with too many Lokis. Boy, you don't even know.
Oh, I do not envy him.
I do.
Oh, my.
But yeah, B-15, I wonder what's going to go on with her, too. Like, if they disintegrate her, then that's just more people on our side. Or if they don't, then she's our person out there.
Yeah.
So, like, either way, it's win-win.
I really like the way they, took her arc. In that it wasn't, like, insanely big and bombastic when, when she was unlocked. It was more of just a, like, she was possessed, we saw that, and, it just stuck with her. Like, it's so understated, and, like, when we first saw her, she was she was very much a, like, just crack some heads together kind of person. So you don't expect her to have a lot of introspection.
Yeah.
Like, until it became very obvious, I was thinking in the back of my head, like, why, like, what happened? Like, did she see something else? Did she do something else? What could it be? But no, it was as simple as just, she got a little bit of her past and she had to know.
And yeah, I appreciate it being that simple. Like, once you realize, like, like, even Mobius was able to believe it so much because, like, it's to him, it's not even like, how to put it? It's more the looking at all this time period stuff, wanting to have a life like that, and then being told that you do is the wanting to chase it. It's different than B-15s. Which
like
no, sorry, keep going.
Just that, like, I feel like there's something to be said there about the concept of, a god of mischief or a god of lies or evil who, it gives you something to believe in, gives you a dream, and you have to go on faith on that. So that feels like an interesting, like, thematic thing they could be doing.
Yeah. But yeah, we now have B-20 down there as well. We have that guy who didn't have his ticket. Yeah, it's just like, it's interesting the amount of people we have helping us now. Like, a lot of people that we've been, I mean, not that many, but like, just everybody we've seen disintegrated is now going to be down here.
Like, if there is something dangerous in there, whether it's like a jailer or something that just kind of, is around on this world, that's also a good way for them to explain, like, why there aren't like 20 Thanoses over there.
Yeah. I mean, well, why would any Thanoses be over here other than the one we defeated? Why is that Thanos not down here? Why did they not come out for that Thanos? Like, forget the Avengers where they put all the stones back and what. I mean, again, all this is bullshit.
Oh, yeah, it's arbitrary.
It's all arbitrary, but at the same time, it's not just Loki's.
I really do wonder if there's a certain, like, a power level, for lack of a better word, where, like, if someone is that strong, they won't bring them in, because it's like, well, what are we going to do with them?
Yeah. Well, they did bring them in, but they're not going to, like, hire them.
Fair.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, they have the whole, like, courtroom as well, and it's like, well, what does that have to do with it?
Yeah. Like, how much of this is, believed by the person in charge? Like, is there a genuine, like, we have to be logging all this stuff for a reason? Or, like, we need the data, or we need the history? Or is that all just, like, busy work to keep all these people occupied through just, bureaucracy and bullshit?
Yeah. And, again, Loki did say that the TVA is exactly what he does, which is that, like, it's an illusion, a trick conjured up by the weak to inspire fear and all that.
Buy it. It works so well.
Like, yeah, what is being a Loki other than, what is being Loki other than doing annoying things or tricking people to think you're stronger than you are, and what is that if not a system?
Yeah.
It all lines up now. It's just a mischievous little scamp behind the scenes.
It's just the equivalent of cutting Sif's hair. Imagine if the ending of this, if this is in fact a Loki behind it all, if the ending is just, I've put you in a loop in which you're being kicked in the balls by Mobius or someone.
But yeah, I don't know what we would do with this. Like, I mean, it would also be cool to have like a definitively evil Loki that they could like take down. Because yeah, Loki is the very, very like you always root for him, even though what a stinker should I be rooting for this guy? He killed a bunch of people. But this also ties in with Loki doesn't want to be hurting people. He's not killing them. He's just sending them to another dimension.
And I think that would be a very interesting end to have of, even this Loki did fail ultimately. So what does that say about Lokis? Like, are they doomed to fail? Because all these other Lokis succeeded in toppling them, so they won. But, if they go back to their timelines or other timelines or whatnot, are they still doomed to fail? What does that say about the state of being a Loki?
And where do they go after this? Like, I think we've talked about it before. Like, where do they, like, let's say just our Loki. Where does he go after this? Like, if like going back to his own timeline isn't possible anymore, so he would have to go back, steal the Tesseract again, and then create whatever that's going to be. Or you would have to go back to what? Like, can they create a timeline before you even go back into it? Or do you have to go back into it, do something to cause it to differentiate? But then how does that work?
Alternatively, what if all these variant Lokis go to timelines where there are already the Loki of that timeline is already dead?
That feels weird as well. Like, it might be necessary, but that feels weird. That feels so morbid.
Yeah, because I was thinking of that as a big, if we want to tie this into the main continuity, in addition to presumably creating the multiverse out of this, we could just, do a Gamora. We could just swap in this Loki and say, hey, there's a Loki now.
Yeah.
In, MCU Prime.
I forgot about that. Oh, man, that's yeah. I forgot we did that.
We just replaced Gamora with a different Gamora.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because, there's no real attachment to... it's way different for this, because we've seen them for, all this... going through all this shit as well. But, it wouldn't inherently be a different character. He didn't even, watch all of his memories or anything like that. He just watched the highlights. Yeah,
I do think genuinely for Guardians 3, that's going to be, in practice, it'll feel more like, Gamora got amnesia. Because it is, 2012 Gamora with, very few, very different changes besides, making amends with her sister earlier.
Yeah.
But with this Loki, it's how do you go... Oh, yeah. But, how do you go from losing in the Avengers 2012 to then going through time, maybe destroying the TVA, maybe becoming the King of Time, and then going back to, all right, I'm going to go specifically to 2024 in this one timeline in order to go bug Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
I don't think it feels right. I don't know what it would be, but just hanging out on the couch with Mobius, maybe.
Yeah. I do feel like he's got to stick around. Whether it is he becomes the god / king of time, or if it is just the TVA is broken and different, but it's also the one place where, no one's going to fuck with you because you're the one fucking with everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think he's going to run the TVA after this, because I think the TVA's got to be done. No more TVA.
I think so. Yeah. There's no way it's going to continue.
I think we got to do the big explosion of timelines now.
Because, in this episode, we still didn't really get the fallout of Sylvie's prank.
Yeah. We still don't know what that is.
What did that do? What does it mean? What does it mean to detonate the places in time?
It's been so many years, and yet the way you said that was still in the exact same cadence of how does King Crimson work. Oh, love it. That energy has not gone away from this world. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say about this episode. Thought we were going to get more answers about that stuff than we did, and what an Nexus event is and all that, but...
I guess... Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that, the Nexus event in this title, I think that does refer to, the Sylvie. One that made Sylvie. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, just, again, very interesting episode, but, it's so tough because it's, this is a very heavy mystery show, but it's also not one in which we get a lot of new mysteries every episode, nor is it one where we're getting a lot of, answers every episode. I feel like we got one big one, which is that, the timekeepers aren't real, but that's something we've kind of been saying since episode 1. So that's more of okay, confirmation, true. Now what? I mean, I feel like this was maybe the big revelation of it. It's probably Loki behind this all.
Yeah, let me bring this up. I don't have a lot of faith in it, but I just noticed this, and it did click with me that we've been seeing this before. In the courtroom where they have the big carvings of the timekeepers. Yeah. It's got these big vertical slants on them, and the timekeepers themselves don't have those.
Yeah, because I even said in there, I was well, that one guy's got the fucked up face, because even more so, we see the one guy on the right always has the more fucked up face, but
yeah.
I guess that's not true, actually. Looking at it in the ED, they just have that.
But
but I don't know why I've always associated with the guy on the right.
Yeah, don't know. But yeah, when I see big lines on the face, I do think Kang, but none of them look like him, so...
That is true, that is the Kang design. I mean, to be fair, that also makes me think, like, a TV fucking up. You know, like its broadcast signal fucking up.
That's also fair.
And, like, you know, obviously the TVA is very, like... there's not a whole lot there, but I feel like it has something to do with TV as well.
I could see it.
Like, the TVA like, feels a little bit like the, I don't know what you would call that, but, you know, the whatever is covering television stuff. Like censorship or all that shit. Everything relating to it.
Yeah, it's the big, like, no, we can't do that. We need to bleep out that cuss, or we need to, you know, just remove that little of a thing.
Yeah.
We can't show this, we can't show that. That's not part of the sacred timeline.
Which is definitely...
I can definitely see that.
I feel like American TV gets censored way more, but also that is a very British thing as well. I mean, even with, like, having the TV license and all that stuff. There's just so much more... TV culture, especially still like currently, you know, now, like American TV culture is dead. There's definitely none of that anymore. But like, you know, it's all streaming stuff now. But I feel like Britain still has a lot of big TV culture.
They still have to divert excess power when, you know, when all the big ad breaks come on so everyone can boil their tea. Yeah. That's still legit.
Yeah.
Like, that is genuinely something that only happens with TV culture, where there's a clear, like, at this time, this show will be coming out, and everyone needs to be watching it right now, as opposed to, it comes out at some point, and you can watch it whenever.
We've all seen Flushed Away. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to mention. Mobius's role in this episode was excellent.
Yeah, loved the whole scene with Mobius and Loki just, like, trying to outlie each other, but not in a, like, super trickstery way. Just in a very, like, subtle way. And
yeah, I can't blame him for not doing anything in that moment, because he was so, like, shell-shocked that, like, going against them at all, let alone being confronted that early with it and everything that. But still, man, what a bad plan to come out of there and then just not do anything, and then Loki was also gonna get disintegrated, and like it was just that was a bad plan. Movie. She really should have tried to do anything.
Maybe they should have gone somewhere that wasn't the TVA.
Yeah. But yeah, where was he going to take it? What were they going to do?
Don't know. But yeah, I think I'm out as well.
We'll see you guys for the final 2 episodes, where I might have a lot more to say. The only thing I can guess is that, like, the stairs are glowing, so maybe the stairs lift up and you go under the stairs.
I'm gonna just say I don't think there's a secret hidey hole that the King Loki is hiding in, but I do like the concept a lot.
I see, that's the thing that's getting me the most. Like, I feel like there's definitely a secret hidey hole. There's no way he's just like he's got to be in a secret thing. That's Loki. Also, like,
I hope so.
When Mobius died, it was like, you know, when he was disintegrated, gotta stop saying died. When Mobius was disintegrated, it was the big, like, there's no way this is happening. I don't believe it. There's no way this is actually death. And then when it's happening to Loki, it was the big, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually killing Loki. Holy shit, they did just kill Loki. Like, I was full, like, okay, we're just gonna follow Sylvie from this point on. Loki is dead. That's the he actually is dead to me.
Oh. God damn.
But yeah, very excited for the next episode. Till then, get the fuck out of here.